Hello and welcome back to another episode of Review Your Death Clips. My name is Syken. I have played quite a bit of World of Warcraft Hardcore. I have leveled every class to level 60, did all of the content including killing KT on both sides. So let's jump right into it and see what kind of death clips we have today. Alright, we are back with another episode. Today, first death is coming from Ends Snoozed. Snoozed? I don't know. Alright, Mr. Snoozed, let's go. We're in the eastern, in the western Plauglands, and we're finding yet another mage who wants to AoE. I like it how they always look super surprised that happens when clearly that could have been seen from a mile away. So I talked about AoE kiting mages. This guy is level 50, has just reached the second last spot of where you are basically AoE grinding, which is Sorrow Hill in the Western Plauglands. The enemies here are pretty flat, level 50, 51, and are super densely stuck together, which allows you to with relative ease pull them. I assume that he has done some of that beforehand, elsewise he wouldn't be doing that. He does not have a XP per hour weak aura, so maybe he's just trying it out. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with. He has a arcane elixir, which is increasing his spell damage. Not that important if you're doing AoE, because Blizzard and Arcane Explosion do not benefit as much from it. Really what you want to do is have max resources, because it's not the speed that you're killing, you're trying to buffer for any form of issue that is coming up. I will say though, it increases the ice barrier a little bit, so it's fine. Ice armor, arcane intellect, and stat food, assuming that he has good stat food, that isn't too bad. So it's kind of self-buffed. I am missing the damp magic here, but it's okay. I mean, not a lot of casters here, so that's fine. He does have his mana gems, which is okay. He's not rocking any form of engineering. Okay, can buy into that as well if you just want to quickly level. So he does have the basics down, but there are a couple of major flaws. Number one, he's rocking 1,800 hit points and 4,200 mana, which already tells me that he has no idea what he's doing, or is super broke and is running a massive risky build just to kind of get to level 60 ASAP. What you always should do is get off the Eagle gear, which is plus stamina plus int. I assume, by seeing what he has focused heavily on int only gear or int and spirit. Both of that I would not recommend, because although you have a massive mana pool, your actual hit points, which will act as a buffer at the end of the day, will be lacking. At this point in the game, at level 50, you should be rocking around self-buff 2,300 to 2,500 hit points, so that's 700 hit point buffer. You should buy from the auction house, since he's not self-found, or from vendors. You should buy stamina scrolls, and you should be very regularly using them, or get 1 hour stamina buffs from a friendly priest. And if possible, you should be rocking some sort of Mark of the Wild as well. So he starts the pull off in a bit of a weird way as well, where he just moves through all of them and then basically just ice blocks. He blinks, ice blocks. I would never pull that way. That is very greedy and very risky. The right way of pulling it is actually riding through it with your horse. He was not dazed beforehand, so he was not dismounted. The reason why blink into ice block is risky here as well is you can blink into these gravestones, and then that's GG. You can get stuck into in those. Additionally, with the ice block, you're still having, since all of them are non-synced, you do have so many hits that are coming in quickly, and this is his problem, that you then get dazed, and even with an immediate frost nova afterwards, it's gonna be really, really difficult to not get too much damage. So once he gets out of this, okay, frost barrier is down. We're looking at 1,300 hit points left, and just let that sink in. If he had 700 more, we would still be at 2k, right? He does have his frost barrier up, so theoretically you can salvage that. And with so much mana, I would definitely always go with mana shield, just to make that whole thing more safe. So far so good. I would say it's an example of him like having a pretty high risk appetite, and given that his block is down, I would assume that he cannot kind of redo that pull because it's a 5-minute cooldown right there. He goes into ice barrier, that's fine. Doesn't really care about the hit points that he has lost. Alright, fine, but I would potentially do it a bit different, at least get a few ticks of bandage in, just so that we're fine, because most of them were still slowed by his ice armor. But then the really big problem happens. So what you need to appreciate is this is the circle for his blizzard. Blizzard is not immediately hitting. It's kind of an AoE dot effect, and it can also be resisted. So if you cast it on enemies, there is a pretty decent chance on, let's say, a 10-12 pull that he is doing, that one of them at periods will not be affected by it immediately, and therefore the slow effect will not work. And that's typically the point in time, if that happens too often, where you just need to slow this guy or simply reset the entire encounter. It's not a great place to pull them to here, because his back is to the city of undead, and you also don't want to like run through the water, so he's not in the greatest spot. He still has the bridge to kite, so that in itself is fine. He then puts a blizzard channel right in front of him that hits this guy, but leaves out a lot of damage on the actual enemies. So if you only have one guy and you're confident in your barrier, you would need to have a barrier weak aura that shows you how much is actually left over. Then you could continue channeling even though one skeletal flare is hitting you. So that's theoretically bearable. Those guys have 28%, but he essentially does the worst of both worlds. He lets the entirety of the remaining pull lash out, and now he's in huge trouble because he's down to 1k hit points thanks to the low hit point pool. Reacts very, very late, and essentially does not have his frost nova off of cooldown. That is still on cooldown. The problem with the blizzard is problem in brackets, it applies such a high slow that even a cone of cold would not override the slow, which means that one guy, if you cone of cold now, would in 4 seconds still start to normally haunt you. So couple of plays that are possible: blink to here, just get distance, wait for the frost nova, and then frost nova them and finish it as a pack. Second option, cone of cold. He chooses none of that. He instead chooses to reapply his ice barrier, which is a stupid idea because he's now going to get clapped. And you can see just how quick the damage happens. And that's all she wrote. I would put that under absolute execution failure. The challenge with AoE grinding as well is it is very risky and you need to have a high concentration over a very long period of time. So I'm not saying this guy is a bad player. I can just judge by that one pull, and he hasn't played the whole thing correct. What you would need to do is get the horse, put them together, kind of ride in around circles so that they even cluster up. Then use the max range to basically nova all of them. Go a few steps back, start casting a fire spell to fire over them, and then continue with your channeled blizzard on top of it, or you're just using fire blast into cone of cold, then blink away and continue with blizzard. All of those options are possible. His biggest problem was he misplaced the next blizzard, basically had one ghoul on him, and yeah, then took the wrong priorities, plus wrong gear, too little buffs, yada yada yada. So quite a bit of pre-issues that existed. Alright, next death comes from UBRS. We are in Ren Blackhand. Oh, pet pulled from above. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Someone went out of Discord and left the group. Fantastic. Yeah, well, that's the problem. Not everybody is having a petrification potion. That in itself is already an issue. Let's talk about it. So they are doing Rend Blackhand, which is an event where multiple waves are going to come. That is a scripted event. After 8 waves, Rend Blackhand comes in and then you kill him. And during that time there is quite a bit of enemies that are sitting up here on the alcove and are just watching this because it's a spectacle at the end of the day. I'm not 100% sure how the pet has died. In terms of pet classes, it's really just a warlock. So what is he rocking? He's maybe having an imp that is wrongly targeting one of the guys up there because it's on aggressive, or he has deliberately targeted it. I don't know. The net of it is there are around 10 enemies, 2 Dracos and 8 of these elite Red Hand standing all the way on that balcony here. They would then run through here and basically add to whatever is coming. These packs are typically 1 to 2 elites, in this case even 3, 1 orc, 2 of the larger ones, and then kind of a couple of smaller ones. These guys are running the typical UBRS setup, and typical I mean 5 people that need Red and Black Hands weapons, so Icos, the 2 warriors and the 3 rogues. It's not a very good group in terms of CC, unless you're doing it right. So here is the next problem. They are not in Discord. I cannot stress how important it is to be on Discord. If you fail to be on Discord, then that's really just on you. This guy, the mage, would need to be the MVP in order to pull this off. We are seeing that they do have a Healthstone at this point. Petri, potion cooldown, specifically Lip, is ready. They do have their mana gems, which is fine. Mana gems also mean that he can't use dummies, so it's okay that he is not engineer. He seems to be Tailor Alchemist. Okay, whatever. So what is the right call here? So they call that the pet has pulled from above. They do have a boomkin. It's getting better and better. So they do have 2 healers, shaman and priest. They have a boomkin, 2 further casters, and a lot of frontline. So if all of these others are coming in, how would you deal with the situation? Someone would need to be in charge and basically say, all right, listen, we got 2 elites, off tank, WoW, pick both of these elites up. put them in the corner, tank them there, and ignore them for now. They cleave, they have a lot of hit points, but a single tank with a shield can keep aggro on them. Just take them out. The problem is the Rage Talon guys cannot be slowed, and are very difficult to be CC'd. Even Hibernate doesn't work on them. So they would be needed to taken into the corner. If it is more than that, because I see another health bar behind, if there is a second Rage Talon pack, then essentially 2 should be on Vivo, and then the other 2 on the other tank. Now the rest, the 6-ish, 5-6-ish orcs, that is the mage's task. So when it was called that all of these guys are coming from above, then the mage should have already been ready, placed his improved blizzard, and slowed these guys down whilst the rest is coming in. He can still move here, Frost Nova them, and the right call here is Frost Nova them into Priest, moves up, and AoE fears. And then when that AoE fear is done, they would be coming back to either Priest or Mage. One of the tanks actually going there and AoE fears, so that you just keep the fears rolling whilst picking up the dragon spawns one by one. Once you've gone through healer fear into Icos fear into Waiwo fear into healer fear again, then it's time for the mage to kind of put up his big boy pants, and since he is Deep Frost spec, I would be assuming that his blizzard is slowing. He should continue doing that, basically root them in place, Cone of Cold, and then continue kiting in between, if needed, Ice Block, and then Cold Snap, redo it over and over. If they come too close, just use the limited invulnerability potion. None of these are casters, so you could have survived that. So what do they do instead? Of course nothing, because at this point everybody's like, oh my god, so many enemies, what are we doing? Mage begins to Nova people in place, which is not great, and then decides to leave party, presses jump 15 times, and at some point decides, you know what, I'll Petri, and everybody else has a problem. Not great. I can't fault him for generally Petriing, but the group as a whole didn't really do well. You can see these guys here all Petried out, so they already committed to being roaches, although this fight could have been won. It just shows how important it is that you are in Discord together. Alright, so the next clip this time comes from, I think this is North. Oh yeah, that's the elite quest in Stonetalon.
I will put down a target dummy, and I will just bandage a bit here. Ah, god damn it. I'm gonna heal your pet. And I'm gonna... Oh, I critted. Nice. Okay, now it's good.
No,
I'm gonna trap that one. Oh shit, I'm dead. Probably. Stop the chain lightning. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna... Wait, if it chain lights again, I'm dead. Yeah. Fuck! Who's this? DP?
DP 2.1.
Huh.
Okay, someone is snickering at him for dying. Not very nice. Alright, so where are we? This here is north of Stonetalon, or the most northern part. At the very end, you do have a long quest line that culminates in going into the cave at the Alliance flight pass, or flight master. And there you do have elite enemies from level, I think, 26 to 30-ish, give and take. It's actually a difficult quest that you certainly cannot do all by yourself, but two people together can do it. I've done it on my warrior together with a shaman friend, and he's an excellent player, and we still struggled because from time to time the fights can be quite chaotic, and specifically the keepers that you need to deal with, as well as the bosses, in this case Naltarsar, are having unique abilities and are not easy. So this guy is playing a no Petri, yeah, that kind of goes without saying at level 30, but self-found challenge. He's a shaman and he has a hunter friend with him. So let's look at what can be improved. There's actually quite a bit that can be improved. Number one, the hunter is not doing particularly well in dealing with aggro. Number two, they're not focus firing. And number three, the pet control as well as the reaction to problems is, shall we say, subpar. So he's self-found. I'll not give him too much of a hard time, but he's basically self-found with mining engineering. He does have 0 target dummies at the moment. Oh no, 0 advanced, 0 normal ones. He has advanced target dummies, my bad. Alright, so he does have target dummies. He has rough copper bombs. Maybe not optimal. He could have gotten a bit better bombs, but okay, it is whatever. He might have just focused on getting first aid up instead of the bombs. And to be fair, that's neither going to make or nor break the situation. So what would I suggest doing here? They fight against Naltazar. The most important part against Naltazar is that you're regularly interrupting the chain lightnings. Grounding Totem is perfect for that. He instead seemed to go for Stone Claw and nothing else. So level 32 is just the time when you have gotten your wind totems. And the only thing that you so far have is, I think this is Grace of Air. This is Grounding Totem. So with Grounding Totem and Earth Shocks, you can actually sustain this for quite some time. I can see that this guy has 2 ranks of Earth Shock, so that's already not bad. He's going Stone Claw into kind of a little bit of AoE aggro, and then is trying to interrupt Naltazar. And really what should have happened here, they should have been very clear on what they want to do. I personally would have said Naltazar needs to die first, and the pet therefore is the main tank, and he's just kind of support in that sense.
No.
You can see Chain Lightning hits, and Chain Lightning hits very hard. The cat is almost dead. He is in a troublesome situation, but he doesn't even think about like grounding that. He has instead tried to use another shock.
I will put down.
He then goes for target dummy. Naltazar is still on him. Hunter is out of mana. How can the Hunter be out of mana that fast? Let me see. They started. Hunter was full mana. I mean, I can't see the entire fight, but apparently the Hunter like completely tapped out, which I would assume is him just pushing DPS non-stop. And I would say at the very beginning he should be focusing on that, but the moment that cat is dropping to 10%, I don't know what the Hunter is thinking, but this is immediate mana potion into healing the pet and trying to let the pet via growl take aggro. The shaman here starts healing the pet and takes aggro with that. Naltazar on the other hand doesn't take that lightly. Shaman is now at 0 health. Are we tapped? Yeah, he has used his potion already. He only has the sticky glue. One play could be sticky glue onto that Merkfallen Keeper. Pet goes onto Naltazar. This also is a bad position for the pet. He should completely recall it and then send it back onto Naltazar so that the sticky glue would stick. They do have Earthbind. He still hasn't used a single grounding totem, so that's really the problem. We're looking at like what is he doing? He just has 1 totem.
Nice. Okay, now it's good.
And the comment of now it's good, nice. I don't see anything nice about the situation. Hunter is, by the way, also way too close here for his own good. Chain Lightning is happening again.
I'm gonna trap that one. Oh shit, I'm dead. Probably. Stop the chain lightning. Okay, there we go.
This was actually a good play. I commend him for that. Problem here is his comrade is not helping him out at all. The pet at this point is doing something, but not really helping him. And he's like all by himself. The one thing that he could do,
if it's chain
no, he
lights,
can't even. He has already used his copper. He could ground it.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Fuck.
That's a good summary. I mean, the hunter is just as much to blame for the situation here as he is. He is equal level to the enemy, so really with grounding totem and level 1 earth shocks, this should never have happened. He should not have received that many chain lightnings. Plus, you can also line of sight that if needed. I've also not seen a single hunter trap, which is huge no-no. So if you are having a triple pull, then it shouldn't be your Earthbind, which is not a very good idea. You should instead go for the frost trap from the hunter, and you are using Stone Claw or Stone Shield totem for that, and above everything else, grounding totem. Alright, that's it. That was it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good one and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.